But we'll just go through. So a bit of background about my story with it when it comes to menstruation. I've suffered with dysmenorrhea, which I believe was actually transitioning into endometriosis. If anyone knows about those types of conditions, it's extremely, extremely painful. And I remember my doctor saying to me that he said to me before I even had got pregnant, he was like, you already know what labor feels like, because that's how much pain you're in every month. Like, you don't need to worry about labor. You've been through this every single month. And that's the reality of what was happening. I was feeling contractions every single month. So when I did have my baby, it was like, it's not to say that it doesn't downgrade the pain, but that is the level of intensity of pain that I'll be in sometimes. And some people just wouldn't even understand or be able to perceive that level of pain that I was in. And I also have fibromyalgia, so it was like pain on top of pain at that time of month, and I was completely just shattered. And it got to a point where when I had my baby, I was like, I had a year off of this thing. I had a year break, and that was amazing. And then I started back my periods literally a month after I gave birth. I didn't even have a break, and I was breastfeeding. So that's a myth, whoever told me that when you start breastfeeding, it like lengthens out the time of when your period comes back. So that's a lie for me. I don't know about anyone else, but that was a lie. But I do remember, especially prior the year before me conceiving, this is when my periods just became extremely intense, in terms of the pain. Even though it was already painful before, I was completely debilitated every single month. I would not be able to get out of bed, and I would actually start throwing up every single month. And every 15 minutes, it was ridiculous. I had nothing to throw up, but I'd be consistently throwing up. And I was like, nah, I need to do something about this, because this is not okay, and I can't be living life like this. So this is when I started to go on my journey of digging deeper into holistic health, and looking into different things that I could do for myself to be able to heal myself and regulate my periods and just allow myself to have a bit more peace. And when so I went and started studying, and then I'm going to speak about a few different things that I had found that helped me in being able to regulate my periods. There was something else I was meant to go on to before I finished this introduction, but I can't remember. So let's just go forward. So if you're experiencing heavy periods, that should not be normal. And oftentimes it can feel normal because, you know, we've been having periods for how many years? I've been having periods for 18 years now. But it gets to a point where sometimes you feel like it should be normal for you to be having this heavy pain or be having longer periods, and it's not really the case. Realistically, we're only supposed to be, so in an average blood loss, in a cycle, you're only supposed to be losing between 30 and 80 milliliters, which is about 2 to 6 tablespoons. That's not very much. So if you find yourself constantly going through period pads every 2 to 3 hours, which was me, I had even transitioned into a Diva cup, and I had to be changing that every 4 hours when that was telling me it should be changed every 8. That wasn't a Diva cup, it was another one, but it was able to hold 8 hours. I wasn't able to do 8 hours, I was only able to do 4. So that was a clear indication to me that something wasn't right. And I'd also been diagnosed with having a cyst and a fibroid on my ovaries as well. So that was something that was definitely contributing towards the pain and the bleeding as well. So yeah, I was being given medication. I was given mefenamic acid, and that was doing nothing for me. If anyone's been given that medication, let me know how that was for you. But for me, I was on it for years and it did absolutely nothing. And this is actually something that's genetic within my family. My mother has this and my sister also has this problem, and it is very, very serious. But yeah, so as I said, if you're soaking through your pads every hour, if you feel that your periods are interrupting your everyday life, there's definitely something wrong, and I just definitely recommend that you see your gynecologist, and to get a pelvic ultrasound, just to rule out any possibilities of anything else a bit serious. But I do feel that there are some things that may be able to help you if it's not very serious and it's something that can be controlled. One of the solutions I definitely recommend is cypress oil. Cypress oil, I mean, I've tried many different things in terms of being able to help with my period. I've tried lavender. I've tried oh my gosh, I've had so many different recommendations that's been given to me that just didn't work at the time. And I remember when I came into aromatherapy, I'd tried different types of oils that was recommended, like cinnamon, like lavender, like clary sage. What else is there? Can't remember off the top of my head, but all of those did not work for me. I'd even made blends, cinnamon, all these different things, and it really wasn't. It took it down a little notch, but it didn't really take away that punch. That you know, when you're on your period and you get that punch in pain, it did nothing for me. And also, where my womb is situated it's tilted towards my back, so I get most of my pain in my back as well. So I needed something to be able to soothe that. And I'll go into what I use for my back a bit later. But cypress oil is an excellent remedy to help stopping heavy periods, being able to reduce it and being able to ease the cramps and the pain. I used this and my periods lasted 5 to 6 days, sometimes 7 days my period would last, and I'm now doing 3-4 days maximum on a period. And by day 2, normally day 2 is my heaviest day. Day 2, I'm coming down. Like, I've never had apart from like the first year of me having periods, I've never had such an easy period. I mean, when it comes in quite strong, but the moment I grab my cypress oil, I'm good to go. And just the reduction in like, I can actually go and do my day. I can go off and, you know, do what I need to do. I can, you know, I'm not filling up so many pads and stuff like that. And that is like a massive transition for me, because that's something I've never had. So a bit into cypress oil. So it comes from the cypress tree, which is a Greek word, and it means ever living. So in many cultures, the cypress tree has a symbol of immortality, or it's more connected to the immortal soul. So it's always about regeneration. And what the hell is going on? Sorry, I'm getting all these messages in the background. Yeah, so that's a bit about so cypress. It comes from Greece, and it's all about the immortal soul. It's all about regeneration. It's all about ever living. There's many different things that it can be used for, but I'm just going to focus on how it works in terms of menstrual cycles at the moment. So how I used cypress oil, I would place. So if you're right-handed or if you're left-handed, definitely go with your more dominant hand. So I place my most dominant hand above my belly button with this oil. So you have to be able to dilute this in a carrier oil. So any type of vegetable oil like coconut oil, sweet almond oil, what else is there? Olive oil, coconut oil, any of the vegetable oils. Just make sure that you dilute. With essential oils are extremely potent, so you definitely want to dilute this. And I use about 4 to 5 drops in about a size about 2 centimeter diameter of carrot oil. So that's what I'd mix. That's the kind of dilution rate that I would use. So then I'll place it above my belly button, and I'll place the other one on top, and then I'll slowly rub my abdomen in a clockwise direction about 20 or 30 times, and it gives it an opportunity to be able to get into my bloodstream. And the reason why I like to use essential oils is because it's more potent than using a herb. So for me, use an example like lemon oil. It takes 45 lemons to make 1 drop of lemon oil, or peppermint oil. It takes 28. 1 drop of peppermint is equal to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So the potency in just 1 drop of an essential oil is clearly going to have more of an effect than just going to an herb, or just taking a straight herb by itself. So when it goes into, when you use the oil, it's able to pass the blood, the blood-brain barrier, and then go directly into your bloodstream. So it takes about 22 minutes, I think, to go into your whole bloodstream. So every time I've used it, within about, say, 10-15 minutes, the cramps has dramatically increased. Sorry, not that. It's dramatically decreased within about 10 minutes after using that. So then you can also move when you're massaging. This is a womb massage. So you're able to also start kneading your abdomen. You can do that in a circular motion about 3 or 4 times, again in a clockwise direction. And the whole routine shouldn't take you more than about 5 minutes. But I think it's good for you to be able to learn how to do these different types of massages. There's loads of different massages you can use, but this is one of the ones that have been most beneficial for me. So with the therapeutic benefits of cypress oil, it can help to not only reduce the cramps, but reduce the hormonal urges that come with your menstrual cramps. So it really helps to relax the body. It helps to calm the mind. And I definitely advise, if you're going to start using cypress oil, to start using it a few days before your period, and then start using it throughout your cycle, just so that you can gain the maximum benefit. So definitely, if you haven't got a period tracker or anything, definitely get something like that so that you can know when things are coming up. You don't want to be caught unaware, but you definitely want to start taking that beforehand, and it will just reduce that bite back. Now, talking about bite backs, there's a reason why our periods can be very, very intense, and it's mainly because we're not actually paying attention to that area of ourselves. It's a very, very intimate area. This is our womb space. This is our intimate space. It's our space of creation. This is our more feminine seat of one of our most feminine energetic centers, our sacral chakra. And this is where a lot of our suppressed emotions are. So if there are suppressed emotions or anything that is not allowing you to express your creativity or express your feminine nature or your emotions, or you're going to find blockages in this area, and you're going to find that your womb is going to bite back at you every single month. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, like, this was definitely something I noticed, and I started to do moon cycle ceremonies. So when I did actually come on my period, I would actually go through a process of honoring my cycle. I would give myself a spiritual bath. I would go and do some yoga movements. I'll start doing sensual movements and meditation and all those types of things, especially sensual movements, because this resonates with the sacral chakra. Dance is very, very powerful in being able to stimulate that chakra. So definitely pay attention to that, because the moment I started to, when I started to do my ceremonies, I realized all my womb needed was for me to be able to pay attention to her, because it's a very neglected place, you know. It's like, it's funny because as I become a mother, it's like, you know, it's not, when you're pregnant, you know, you get all of this this attention, you know, everyone's like, oh, when's the baby coming? But once the baby comes, everyone forgets about the mother and everyone focuses on the baby. And that's sometimes what we can do. We can focus on the result of the creation, but not focus on where it actually comes from, the source of creation and how it actually works. And learning how to be able to cultivate that energy and help that energy to remain balanced within itself. So I definitely recommend doing every single month, going through a process of honoring your moon cycle, honoring your period, whatever it is that you feel that intuitively to do. I definitely do recommend doing a spiritual bath, but I also do recommend Yoni steaming. Yoni steaming, also known as a V steam, it's a sacred self care practice that has been used for many years in indigenous cultures, and this is used by basically steaming your kitty cat. It is like a bit, you know, when you first come into it, it's like, why would you do that? But listen, let me tell you, girl. When I started steaming, I remember the first time that I did it, and I remember feeling this like you definitely feel that cleansing activity going on down there, but I actually did feel sacred. And I remember going into this state where I didn't even want to be able to engage in any type of sexual activity with my partner at that point, because I felt like I wanted to charge that energy within myself, charge that sacred sexual creative energy for myself, and be able to learn to harness that, and then I could utilize that and transfer that into other different things that I was going to be doing. And we definitely, as women, definitely being mindful of how we externalize our energies, especially with that energetic center, our sacral chakra. When we're engaging in sexual practices, remember that, you know, to be able to reclaim your own power out of that experience, there's a massive charge that's created in sex. And I think I'll go into like tantric practices a bit later. It's a bit early for me to be talking about all of that right now, but you guys you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so it definitely brought up this sacredness in me that allowed me to really appreciate myself. And especially when the woman's on her period, your period is your most powerful time. You know, patriarchy is managed to successfully teach the massive otherwise, you know, because you're no use if you're on your period to a man, you know, but you are of use to yourself. There's so much power, there's so much manifestation that can be created when you're on your period, and when you're on your cycle. And this really, just me being able to take time to connect with these energies and harness that, I feel that's definitely had a massive impact in my manifestation goals for my health and my cycle. So back to Yoni steaming. So what it helps to do is it helps to clear out all of that, because we should not be doing anything like douching. Do not put anything inside of that place, please, I beg, except for steam. Like steam is a purified it's a purification purifying agent, and so what it's taking is the all the nutrients and things from the plants and the herbs that you've been able to put in or have in the blend, that's able to go into the bloodstream and go up in that whole intimate area and just clean it, and it helps to really stimulate it as well. So this can really help with not only your cycle, but especially if you've got any type of reproductive issues down there, but also if you're going for the menopause, I definitely recommend it for that. And definitely incorporate this into your ceremony. Like with Yoni Steams, it can be a very, very sensual experience. You can go and get your music and go put on some meditational music. You can, put on a candle, just take a moment, you can meditate, just come into self. Like, let this be a time where you devote your energy to yourself and allow yourself to just sit in the charge of your energy, So yeah, I definitely recommend that if you do have any reproductive issues and you are steaming, it's advised to do it maybe a few times, maybe like 2-3 times in a month to begin with. It may you may find that your periods may come heavy at first because it has to. What steaming also does is that it gets rid of all of the blood that hasn't been in. I know this is a little bit gory, but it gets rid of all of the blood that hasn't been able to release itself just yet. And so you'll just find yourself doing a major purge at the beginning, and then you'll find that it will begin to balance. So it also works with infertility as well. So if you're finding any problems of not being able to get pregnant, this is definitely a method that you want to be using as well. Any hormonal related imbalances definitely help with that. If you are postpartum, if you just had a baby, please steam. Do not steam when you're pregnant. This is not advised for you to be doing that whilst pregnant. But when you postpartum, this is a beautiful practice for you to do, just to help to restore and just cleanse and just get back some kind of balance down there as well. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to mention. So it helps to balance the menses, increase fertility, postpartum healing, heals and tones the tissues of the vagina. And if you want to be able to intensify that, definitely get your crystals, your yoni eggs. Rose quartz is a beautiful crystal that you can start with for that. And just being able to tone it up, not just for other people. Like, one thing I've always get with this whole when we start talking about yoni eggs and stuff like that, like, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can make my vagina tighter, and it's always for the purpose of someone else. No, this is actually for the purpose of yourself. This is for the purpose of you being able to feel healthy, being able to, like, just be balanced. This doesn't have to be never put yourself in a place where you're healing for the purpose of someone else. You're cheating yourself. Like, heal for the purpose of you. So yeah, it also helps to regulate your menstrual cycle, and help in reducing your flow. It helps to clear blood clots. It helps to reduce symptoms of bloating and cramping. Helpful for pelvic pain during intercourse, vaginal dryness, tightness, trauma and emotional healing. Again, that's that sacred, just clearing the emotions out of the energetic center. Postpartum healing from a miscarriage or an abortion. That's also, like, again, this is just the purging. Even all of the emotions that you go through would be stuck in that sacral chakra. Helps to heal hemorrhoids, supports complete cycle premenopause, helps relieve vaginal dryness. Already said that. So some of the precautions, this is the precautions that I did want to mention again. So do not steam if you're pregnant or if you're trying to conceive. Please speak to a practitioner, okay? Do not steam during a period. Do not steam if you have an IUD. Do not steam if there's excess heat in your body due to a fever, hot flushes, or night sweats. Do not put essential oils down there, okay? Do not put it in the steam water, okay? As much as essential oils are really beautiful and healing, they can be toxic if not being used properly. So you do not want to be putting them in your intimate areas, okay? So definitely stick to dried or fresh herbs. Do not steam if you have any type of internal or external infection. Definitely speak to your midwife about steaming postpartum if you're going to be doing that. Please speak with a herbalist or holistic practitioner if you are working to heal severe hormonal issues or infertility. You can also speak to myself, as I'm actually a qualified aromatherapist, and I actually create emotional blends. I'm trying not to be making them myself at the moment, but I can actually sell you the oils, so you can make them yourself. So here's some of the herbs that you may want to consider in steaming. So some of the most beneficial herbs is like lavender, rose, chamomile, motherwort, calendula. Some of the nourishing herbs that you may want to be using, stuff like red raspberry, which is really, really good when you're pregnant. I took right at the end of you're coming to the end of your pregnancy, whilst you're preparing for labor. I used red raspberry leaf to help to prepare my body for labor. I don't know how useful that was, as I had an emergency C-section, a whole lot of trauma, but actually I do feel like it did help. But so you got red raspberry leaf and nettles. So yeah, you want to use like 1 cup of herbs every time you do a yoni steaming. So some of the more potent herbs, and if you're going to use any of these herbs, please consult a practitioner. You don't want to be, not everyone can just go and prescribe blends and herbs and stuff like that. We really want to be doing this properly. So some of the more potent herbs include herbs such as juniper, mugwort, sage, peppermint, neem, yarrow. Many of these herbs are used to stimulate your menstruation. So with your cramping, with your infections, clearing scar tissue, and it also helps to tone and strengthen the vagina with that as well. So these are really powerful at being able to help the hormonal imbalances that comes with periods as well. So how to steam? As I said, you want to turn on some music, burn some Palo Santo, burn some frankincense. You can even burn some, a combination that I'm really loving at the moment is frankincense and lavender. So getting the frankincense resins and putting the lavender buds on top. It's beautiful. You can get a book. Just really make yourself comfortable. You can go and get yourself a steaming tool. You can get these on Etsy or Amazon. I'd definitely advise get the stool. Don't get like one of the, what's it called? Not bidet, those little toilet things. Don't get that. It's not even worth it. Just get yourself a stool, or you can make a stool as well. Just get yourself 4 planks of wood and just cut a circle in the middle. And you just want to bring yourself into a place where you can, if you don't get a stool as well, because, not everyone's got money like that, you can actually just get a bowl and just squat over it on the floor. If you can squat. I can't squat, so I actually bend over, like on all fours, and like bend over that way. And definitely steep the herbs before you transfer them into another pot. And yeah, you can boil the water, add about 1 cup of dried herbs, reduce the heat, cover it, allow it to simmer for about 5 minutes, and you can turn off the heat and then allow it to cool for another 5 minutes, and then you can go for your steaming. Okay, so you can steam for about 15 to 20 minutes. I usually do about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And don't allow it to get too hot down there. Like really, really allow it to cool. So with the steaming, you'll find an increased blood flow, which is why it's not advised for you to steam when you're on your period. So it will help circulation throughout the body. Again, it will help with the hormones, fertility, your overall well-being will be able to be balanced once you introduce steaming into your practices. I like to do it, I haven't been doing it weekly. I've been doing it more so bi-weekly now. But definitely try to incorporate this into your routine, because it's really, 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 really helpful. Definitely make sure you're staying hydrated with when you're steaming. So keep a cup of water by you. I'm not going to go into all of this. Yoga is really, really good. Make sure you get some movement going in your period as well. It's been really difficult for me, but as I said, I do have fibromyalgia, but I have found just allowing myself to just have really gentle movements, just keeping that flow in that body. Sorry, my nose. Keeping that flow in that body really, really, really helps. So you can go, if you've got this strength, you can go jogging, go for a walk. Long walks are really, really, really good. What else did I want to mention? Herbal infusion blends. So I did mention red raspberry leaf. I did mention nettle leaf. But you can try burdock or dandelion. This really helps in supporting the female reproductive system, but it also helps to cleanse out your liver as well. So you can do this about 1 week before your menstrual cycle. Deep breathing. You know what? There's a book. I think I have mentioned this to you. So my eyes are really watering. I don't know what's going on. There's a really good book that I really recommend every woman to have, and it's called Tao Tantric Arts for Women. I can't remember who it's by, and I can't really see it. I think it's by Mink D something. I can't remember. But that book is really, really amazing. It's got some ovarian practices in there. It's got some breast massages in there. It's got loads of different tantric practices that I feel is definitely beneficial for us to be able to incorporate into our everyday practices. Maybe not every day, but every other day, or maybe 3 times a week. You definitely that's what self-care and self-love is about. When you can actually take the time to actually dedicate to yourself for your own purpose of healing. It doesn't even have to be, just taking stuff like breast massages and stuff like that is interestingly mentioned in this, because I'm really mentioning quite, intimate personal things. And I find that sometimes as women, we've been taught to be so like away from our bodies that only someone else can appreciate our body, but we can't be able. If someone's like talking about breast massages and I'm gonna massage my breast, like it's like, why are you doing that? No, let's love ourselves, like really love the deepest and most intimate parts of ourselves, and really get to know our bodies, because most of us don't know our bodies. Most of us don't really know what we feel like, don't know what anything. Like really, really get to know your bodies and really get to appreciate your body. And when you begin to come into that place, and someone else will be able to appreciate it for you, you know, or with you, not for you, with you. Okay. A deep breathing is also amazing when our stress levels are low. Definitely look into anchoring breathing. I may be doing like more in-depth videos into these types of practices a bit later on. But I just wanted to kind of mention these. I did mention womb massage. Womb massage is really good. But the last one I really, really wanted to mention is your diet. And one thing I really, really notice is that if I eat too much meat around my period, it's gonna roar back at me. It's gonna bite back. Try to incorporate as much fruits and you know, just healthy foods around that time, because your body is going for a purge and you almost need to give your body what it needs to do that purge. So let's not fight our body in that process. Definitely pay attention to what you're eating around the time of your period. And yeah, that's basically what I wanted to mention. I did have some other stuff that goes a bit more in depth, but I think I'll do another video on that a bit later. But let me know if any of these tips were helpful for you, and let me know if you actually want to, if you actually do try any of these methods out. With the cypress oil, I do sell cypress oil. I sell it just left my brain. Certified pure therapeutic grade oil. Never mess that up, but so these are extremely pure, extremely potent. These are verified by third party companies that make sure that the purity of these oils are what they say they are. If anyone knows about the essential oil industry, it is not regulated. So someone can say it's pure and organic, and it's really not. So I really pride myself on ethics, and I want to make sure that everything that I am using or am recommending people to use is the real deal. So if you would like cypress oil, I'll definitely leave the link in the description box where you can go to my site, my doTERRA site. I am a doTERRA advocate. So you can purchase that off there. And if you have any more questions, or if you have any comments that you would like to leave, just definitely leave a comment below. Let me know how you found this video. And also, I am releasing the Intuitive Chakra Healing course, and this would definitely help if we're talking about the sacral chakra and being able to learn how to balance, to clear, to activate those centers within ourselves, and then learn how to set goals with those chakras. So with our chakras, these have physical elements connected to them, spiritual and emotional and mental elements that are connected to them if they're blocked or unbalanced, or you know. So we definitely want to make sure that these centers are always in balance, and then we'll find that everything else will fall into place. So you can find that course that will be starting on Lionsgate, which is very powerful portal, on the 8th of August. So if you're really up for this self-healing day and this soul self-healing journey process, I'm doing it myself, so I'm inviting people to come on this journey with me. You don't have to, you know, you can stay where you are, but I'm all about leveling up. And if you're ready to level up with me, come and join me. So definitely head over to my website, www.soul-reconnection.com, and then you will find the course under the courses tab, and you can purchase it there. It's on a sale at the moment, just to make sure everyone can get access to the course. It will not remain at that price, so definitely recommend for you to get in now while you can. So I will be going a bit later on today, going into the new moon. What is this energy all about? The new moon in Leo, the preparation up for the next 6 months going into 2020, it's gonna be a lot. So definitely join me later on tonight. I think I'll be going live at 8:15, I believe. But stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys later.